Greetings, Christopher J. here once again for Gnome's Newcomers. This time around, I have a follow-up to a previous story we just did. Had the distinct pleasure of meeting Paul from California and learned about his story of leaving a communist state to come out here to the United States of South Dakota. Now I'm even more privileged to welcome his wife, Holly, into the conversation because we're going to talk to both Holly and Paul now about public education and their wonderful son, Tristan, who has autism. So, Holly, welcome you into the mix now for Gnome's Newcomers, because we were talking, like I mentioned, to your husband, Paul, about the bigger picture of, the communism versus the freedom in this country. Now we're going to talk about education and talk about Tristan, your son. Mm-hmm. And I must say, from personal experience, because I've worked in education for many years, some of the most incredible lessons I've ever learned personally were from autistic individuals.
Yeah.
Amazing. So let's just turn our attention now and talk about Tristan and autism and your story with your son regarding his troubles that he had back in California with the public education system.
So he we didn't realize he had autism until his kindergarten year. He had mental temper tantrums because of the loud noises and stuff. If he got too hungry, he didn't know how to express himself. And so we ended up going through different schools trying to find a type of school that can handle autistic child, high functioning. So he is smart enough that he can stay in the classroom, but there's tendencies that he does that is not normal. Well, as they said, normal in California. So by the time the third school hit, we finally pulled him out of school. Every time we pulled him out of school and did homeschooling, and then we would put him back into school, he was always ahead. They would test him when he would get it, before he went into school. He was always ahead 1 to 2 years in reading. And then by the time I had to pull him out of the next school, he would be behind again. They would always put him next to
non-English speakers.
Non-English speakers, so for him to help them, but he didn't have anybody next to him to help him.
Sure.
With social avenues, he was kind of sectioned out, even by the teachers, because they didn't know what to do with him. So finally we pulled him out for 3 years, and so both he and I switched off and on with homeschooling. We would have teachers come in and homeschool him too, so he didn't sit stuck with us all day, And then finally when we got out here to South Dakota, my main thing was to try to get him into a school for the 8th grade. So when he did transfer to high school, you can at least transfer with some friends. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we got here and they brought us in there, I started going, usually it's a fight for me. So I've got all my folders and, I've got to start boxing to try to get help from my son. And so I kind of went in with a little bit of attitude, but all of them, there was probably about 12, 15 teachers. They just calmed everything down, put everything in a structure, taught me about an IEP, 504 plan. They advanced, allowed all these different quirky things that he needs to be in the classroom, such as he has a earbud from his phone that he listens to music. He only does it on one ear, but what this does is it turns out the rest of the classroom. So he either has this or he'll concentrate and listen to the teacher. But that also helped with the freaking out, things being so loud. So they were allowing concessions for him, and he got all A's and B's last year.
Amazing.
No,
Congratulations.
It would never happen. And he's learning how to, and they're teaching him at this school, how to see a problem that you're having, and then going on a break or scooper time as they call it, or after school, and going and talking to that teacher to bring an update to help him. And they spend that time and do that. And sometimes if he misses a test or he does bad on a test, he can go back in later and retake the test because of these concessions. It would never have happened in California. And now this has taught him how to maneuver through high school. They're right there maneuvering him, helping him, but also letting him think that he's doing it on his own.
Fosters
So-
independence.
Right.
Yeah.
What an amazing story.
Yeah.
I mean, public education, California.
Horrible.
Public education, South Dakota.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
I thought California was supposed to have the answers to everything.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're supposed to be able to just fix everything and.
Well, they don't, the thing with California, and I figured this out, is that they don't want to spend more than 5 minutes with one kid.
Right. So you
They
have
don't
care
have it.
and compassion, mentorship, interpersonal education right here in South Dakota.
Yes.
Kudos to the teachers here in South Dakota. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and one of his two favorite worst subjects in homeschooling was English and math. He got here. His English and math teacher knew that he was autistic. They used, I don't know what they did, but they found something that he was interested in, and they twist the knob, and he flourished.
So Holly, let me ask you, let me just expound on that a little bit. You said English and math.
Yeah,
Isn't that what we're supposed to be teaching our kids anyway?
Yeah.
Instead of this goofy race theory and this
Yep.
ridiculous form of child abuse called transgenderism?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be teaching our kids
no,
English and math?
for the parents as far as I'm concerned to teach.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a great
it's-
testimonial. And for Tristan,
and now he's
congratulations
thriving.
on his successes. He's thriving.
He's
Yeah,
thriving.
As a sophomore up in Sturgis,
That's amazing.
doing great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the only thing I tell him is make sure you do all the extra credits the teachers give you, because for him, tests are hard.
Sure.
It's too much
Sure.
pressure. So do all the extra credit, do all the assignments, and if you flunk a test, you flunk a test. But at least you got in all the work, and that's what's most important. And I tell the teachers that too. So they do give him extra credit so that he can pass the test,
great.
you know, so.
And it sounds like he's got, obviously, two great parents.
Both of us
who
are home
right
all the
there
time.
working- Yeah, exactly. And working in collaboration with the public school system.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not
Yeah.
having to work in competition, which we're seeing all over America.
I am
sadly.
very
Yeah, we get
hands-on.
phone calls from his teachers. Hey, you know,
Emails.
to try and update us on what's going on, or, you know.
Tristan
it's
had a bad
constant,
day. We never
Yeah.
got stuff like that in
You never got that. No,
California.
You never got that.
No.
No.
I would just pick up this crying kid,
Oh,
you
that's
know?
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share about the differences in education? That's just a wonderful story.
Well, so when all this CRT thing started coming up, I literally was praying that
On
it
your
wouldn't
knees.
come here. And yes, and Governor Nome outlawed it.
Yeah.
So it won't come here. And I was so thankful about that. And this, like you said, this whole transgenderism thing, it's just, it's crazy.
It's child
just,
abuse.
yeah, it is. And
And not
they're
everybody
trying to-
needs to answer that question right now. What people need to do is go to school and find interests that they can make a life for themselves with.
And then not have to deal with
All the other stuff is
repercussions from it.
noise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and-
Well said.
And they don't need noise. They have enough noise.
In
And then 5 years
California-
later, they have to deal with more repercussions of mental illness
Yeah.
that they create. Absolutely.
Yeah, in California, if a kid identifies as, say, a boy
Oh, that's
as a
the other
girl, they'll start giving them hormones.
At the
They won't
nurses,
even
and
allow-
they don't have to
won't even
tell
tell
us.
the parents.
That just came to fruition in this last year. Kids can go in and get hormones, and they don't have to tell us. The kid can go in and ask for an abortion,
Yeah.
and they can take care of it, and they don't have to tell us. We just get the bill.
It's
sad.
absolutely
It's not.
sad.
That's not America.
No.
That's an uncivilized society.
Yeah, we're so lucky to have a governor here that honors our
United States
Constitution.
of South Dakota.
Our Constitution.
Holly, thank you for jumping in.
You're
and talking about
welcome.
this very important issue, education. And on behalf of you and Paul, welcome to South Dakota. You
And
bet. You bet. Go ahead. Did you want to add
I was
something?
gonna say
Please.
maybe on the next segment about VA.
We will touch on VA. There's a lot of good stuff between you two. And that is a reinforcement of the knowledge, your service to the country, your skills that you bring to this state to make it even better. Thanks again, you two. There you have it, another episode of Nome's Newcomers. Thanks to Governor Kristi Nome. Public education is not public indoctrination. We'll see you again soon.